In this video, I basically just want to make an extra video on showing what the differences are between an expression and an equation, especially when it comes to algebraic fractions, and then comparing the two. So I'm going to divide this into two, and then on the one side we're going to look at an expression, and on the other side we're going to look at a similar type but equation. So I've seen a lot of times that people tend to confuse the two, and they also put in some steps that belongs to the other one into the one. Now, before we get started, let's just define the two. An expression is normally, they would normally say simplify with an expression. So the purpose of what we want to do in maths with an expression is we want to simplify it, write it in its simplest form. And then we use our algebraic laws to simplify it. With the equation, the purpose of an equation is to find the value of x. So it would normally say solve for x with an equation. And you can recognize it. An expression is just a statement, like it's just like x plus 2 or a plus b. Whereas an equation always has an equal sign in. And so yeah, you basically have an equation because it has an equal sign in, and you can find the value of the unknown, of the variable, basically. Okay, so going ahead and solving for these, for both of these, we need to find the lowest common denominator, because we know the steps where we want to simplify an algebraic expression when it has a plus or minus in between. We can't add fractions if the denominators aren't the same. So finding the lowest common denominator is x minus 2 and x minus 3. Okay, and then the next step would be putting both over the lowest common denominator. So we see that this one needs an x minus 3. So top and bottom, I'm just going to multiply by x minus 3, and then this one needs x minus 2, multiply by x minus 2, and then the last one also needs x minus 3, so we multiply top and bottom with x minus 3. Alright, then putting them over a long dividing line, it looks as follows. We say x minus 3 minus x minus 2, be careful to keep the bracket there because of the negative, and then minus 2 x minus 3. And we can directly put it over long dividing line, so we have x minus 2 and x minus 3. Okay, so I'm going to stop there for a while, and then I'm going to head over here and see how would we start this. So also, when we solve an equation, we want to first get rid of the fractions. That just simplifies things for us. And in order to do that, again, we need to find the lowest common denominator, so x minus 2 and x minus 3. And then there's two ways you can do it. You can either go the fast way and basically multiply through everything with the lowest common denominator. So because what you do on the one side of an equation, you can do on the other side. Or you have to do what you do on the one side, you have to do on the other side. And so we can go ahead and multiply through, but I'm going to do the one that has just an extra step in, where I'm also going to put everybody over the lowest common denominator. Okay, so we know this one just needs x plus 3, x minus 3 top and bottom. So you can just write that maybe in pencil. This one needs x minus 2, like we saw in the previous one. X minus 2, and this one needs x minus 3. Okay, except now for this one, I'm not going to put it over a long dividing line. I can't do that. There's an equal that actually divides them. You could maybe this side, but let's just go ahead and do this. So we have x minus 3 over x minus 2 x minus 3 equals to x minus 2 over x minus 2 x minus 3 and plus 2 x minus 3 and x minus 2. Okay, so this is the point where I wanted to get to, and like comparing where we are at now. So the next thing, okay, this mustn't be an equal there. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to drop the bases here, because with an equation we can multiply both sides by the same factor, and that would help us to get rid of the fractions. Okay, but you do not do that over here, because you can't multiply this just with a random or, well, let's say with x minus 2, x minus 3, you can't multiply it with that to get rid of it, because there's not a other side to also cancel out that that operation. So this one has to stay over the lowest common denominator, whereas this one we can drop the base, not the bases, but we can drop the denominators. So we can say x minus 3 equals to x minus 2 plus 2x minus 3. And then we just have a normal equation. This is going to work out to be a quadratic equation when we multiply out the brackets. So we're going to say x squared minus 3x equals to x minus 2 plus 2x minus 6. So I'm just quickly going to solve this. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, do it very slowly. There are other videos that explains this. This is actually just to show the comparison between expression and equation. So if we're going to solve that, we bring everybody over to the one side. That becomes plus 2 plus 6 equals to 0 because it's a quadratic equation. Then that's negative 6x plus 8, and when we factorize that we get x minus 4, x minus 2, and therefore our answer is x equals to 4 or x equals to 2. So there we have our values for x. In this case we just have to simplify, so we're also going to multiply out the brackets, and then we get minus 2x plus 6 all over x minus 2 and x minus 3. Add the like terms, x squared minus 6x plus 8 over x minus 2 and x minus 3. And then we can also factorize that if it can factorize, and it can. It's just x minus 4, x minus 2. And then finally, if there's something we can cancel, then we can cancel that. We can cancel these two, and then our final answer would just be x minus 4 over x minus 3. Okay, so that is basically the main difference or differences between an equation and an expression.